After taking some measurements, we can put our hood back on and start drilling. With our holes cut, now we can insert our risers and glue them. Once we have our risers coming out of our hood, we can make a mark about 2 inches up all the way across and cut. What we'll end up doing is putting a 2-inch coupler on it that will be able to move around on our pipe to straighten up our riser going up. This also serves another function that I highly recommend using a coupler for, is in case of a rollover, your snorkels will actually bend over before they break. If a snorkel breaks, you've got sharp edges and it becomes a real safety hazard on top of the foil or rolling. Now that we're done with our snorkels, I wanted to show you a couple of extra things that needs to be done. Starting with the gas tank vent line. Your factory vent line is going to come out and it's going to split. One of them is going to come in your frame here and the other one is going to wrap around and it'll be in this location right through here. You've got 2 one-way valves. One of them lets the air breathe in and the other one lets the air breathe out, come out. You don't need either one of those. Just take that vent line, snatch it off, and go get some vent line from any auto parts stores and route that up. The second vent line that needs to be extended is your transmission vent line. Factory comes out and it's going to wrap around and come down here into this location here. We need to remove that, use the same size vent line for our gas tank and route it up also. If you haven't done either of these, when you sink your foiler, you get it deep, you're actually pulling mud and water into your gas tank and into your transmission. Up at the UCM, this is my transmission vent line and my gas tank vent line. I have it routed down, and it's just terminates right down here at the end. Also have pulled the crankcase vent out. I've got a plug on it now. Pulled it out of the air box. Got a new piece of vent line and got it's a valve cover breather. You can get these in the performance section of AutoZone or any auto parts stores, and this is going to let your motor breathe better. The reason why we're doing this is because, speaking from experience, I have killed 2 motors because of this vent line. My air box filled up with water and mud, and it was a direct shot straight into the bottom of the motor. Your crankcase vent line would run from the top right down here, and you actually can see it up underneath your exhaust. And this is in the front of your motor. This is the one that needs to be replaced. Now there is goods and bads with running your crankcase vent line like this, and you can do this also with any foiler. Get your crankcase vent out of your air box. If you have this out and you get water in your air box, you are just going to have it in your air filter. Your air filter is going to stop any dirt from entering into your motor by way of your throttle body or carburetor. Also, when the mud and dirt and water gets into your motor, it stays on top of your cylinder. If it comes in through your crankcase vent line, then there is no filter on it. It's going to go straight, and it goes into the bottom of your motor. This is where all your bearings and your seals and your crank and everything is down there, and that's where all the money is at. That's where it costs a lot to replace. The downside by running this is I know a lot of you guys like to submerge your foilers. Rule of thumb that I always go by, I have my snorkels, but I never take a foiler that deep where it's just my handlebar sticking out. You may want to route this. If you do want to take it that deep, route these vent lines and your crankcase vent line, route it up your snorkel, route it to the top of your handlebars. That way it is not submerged. Because if you submerge this and you don't get any water in your air box, if you submerge your bike and you don't get any water in your air box, your snorkels don't go under, but this goes under, you're still going to get water inside of your motor. Won't have any mud or dirt because this should filter it out, but you'll get water in the bottom of it. So if you plan on taking it deep, that deep, which I wouldn't advise that anyway with any kind of electronic fuel injection, with any of the electronics, but if you do it, route this up. And finally, I want to show you where I relocated the radiator bottle to. Using these stop brackets, I use this punch pin that's down on the bottom. I had to take the hole that's in the bracket, use a Dremel, and make that hole a little bit bigger so the push pin would be able to push through. Right at the top of this, let me get a light so you can see it better. This is just a part of your radiator shield. I drilled a hole right at the top. So my finger's drilled a hole at the top and put a push pin in there. The push pin didn't want to stop, didn't want to stay. I didn't think it was secure enough. So what I did is I put a washer on the back side of the push pin, and that's going to keep it in place. This is the same thing, the same principle. I can see this as the back side of your fender. It uses on your end piece. This is where your headlight is at right here. They put a washer on the back side to keep this push pin from pulling out.